Today we're talking financials. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love just numbers, sales data. I don't know what about it excites me so much. It's so much fun. Back in the day, a couple times I was able to take this kind of conversation and I guess just package it in such a way that I could put it on the main channel. But I think those days have kind of finally passed, at least for the moment. But that's okay. We have Topic Arlo now. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go through this thread right here. Pierre485 has compiled a whole bunch of really amazing data. Nintendo had their quarterly financial report, and this person has just kind of brought it together. A number of threads. It's really interesting. So this thread right here is going over sales data for a lot of Nintendo's notable games. And we're just going to look at them. We're just going to look at them and geek out over them and just talk about what they mean, I guess. So we start with Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Apparently in the first 6 weeks of its life, it shipped about 1 million units. And honestly, it kind of feels like no matter what Nintendo puts out, with Mario's name on it, it'll sell about 1 million. I think most people can agree that this game was simply priced too high. The game itself feels like a budget title, and yet they still priced it, $50 or something. So this number, it could have been so much higher. It really could have been a lot higher, and I would argue, I could talk for quite a long time about how I think it is silly to price things this high. I think it's better to sell for cheaper and hit a wider audience, because then you're fostering more of a fan base and all that stuff. Yada, 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 whatever. Who knows how much more it will end up selling, but at least it sold its average million or so units, and it's close to the original game, which sold 1.37 million units on GBA. I don't see it going too much further, but we'll see. Then we have Princess Peach Showtime. It shipped, not necessarily sold, but shipped over 1.22 million units in 10 days. And that, I don't want to jump to any big conclusions, make any harsh judgments or anything. I am disappointed by that number. I feel like it could have been more. I mean, any Mario adjacent thing, Mario has such a broad reach that any Mario kind of thing, any Mario spin-off has the potential to do really well. And I really wanted to see Princess Peach Showtime do well. I don't know. I know a lot of people will see 1 million units and be like, oh, wow, that's a lot. Well deserved. But I don't know. I feel like Mario games are capable of so much more. And this is a 3D Mario game. It's not just a little spin-off or a remake of a GBA game. This was kind of a big project, maybe at least a medium-sized project. So, and I know that most sales, it's usually front-loaded. Very highly selling games will have legs and continue to get sales over time. But smaller projects that get less views at first usually don't go on to have great legs. So I would have liked to see a couple million at launch. And that did not happen, and I know it's part of a much greater discussion. I go over that in my review and everything. I do kind of feel like Nintendo made the audience for the game just a little bit too narrow, and I do think that affected sales. But we'll see. We'll see if maybe this holiday season it gets more or something. Maybe in the end it'll end up getting a few million. I just feel like there's so much potential in a Peach game. I just wanted it to be higher than that, but I don't know. We'll see. I have no idea if Nintendo already considers that a financial success or what. We don't really know what their goals were. So then a lot of this sales data goes over overall sales of a game, but then specifically focusing on the previous quarter, the previous 3 months of the fiscal year. And Super Mario Bros. Wonder is at a total of 13.44, and just in the last quarter shipped another 1.48 million. So that's completely to be expected. It's a giant, enormous success. That's a tremendous number of units. It has surpassed New Super Mario Bros. 2, which sold over 13.42 million units on the 3DS. So obviously, it's doing pretty darn well. I mean, if a simple port of New Super Mario Bros. U on the Switch could sell as much as it did, then Wonder was always going to sell very, very well, and it will continue to sell. This is the kind of game that will sell throughout the remainder of the Switch's life. So yeah, 13.44 million copies, not surprising at all. Absolutely not for Mario, especially such a wonderful Mario game. And then we got good old Mario Kart. Everyone's been talking about this one. It's been out since the beginning. Not quite launch, but just after launch. We got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Still 1.39 million copies this quarter. This quarter alone. Over 7 years later. Total sales are now 61.97 million units and counting. 70.43 million units when you combine it with the Wii U version. And as many people have pointed out, if you don't count Wii Sports, because Wii Sports was a pack-in game for like most of the Wii's life, Wii Sports, it came in the package. So like if you don't count that, then Mario Kart 8 is now the #1 highest selling Nintendo game. Period. Which is absolutely crazy. Even just looking at it here compared to other Mario Kart games. Even Mario Kart Wii. The Wii was crazy. Everyone bought a Wii, and yet, like, here you go. Like, this Mario Kart 8 has sold, I mean, by the end, it might hit double. It might not quite, but it's getting there. Oh, no, yeah, 70. That's 61. So if you count 70, it's more like up here. So yeah, about double the sales of Mario Kart on the Wii. Which is just crazy. Mario Kart, it's just the most universally loved Nintendo game possible. And I do know that like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is packed in with a lot of bundles of the Switch, but it's not like the default, you know? Like, it's not every single Switch out there. It's mostly just holiday bundles. So this is still very, very, very big. Then Super Mario RPG, very nice to see. 3.31 million units, that is great. That makes it one of the highest selling Mario RPGs ever. And it hasn't even been out that long. It added another 170k copies in the last 3 months, and that's pretty good. That's not like the most incredible legs in the world, but that's solid. That means that over the, you know, if it continues this way, then it could sell like another 500,000 or something by the end of another year. You know, it could end the Switch's life with 4 million units, and that would be really solid for a Mario RPG. Yeah, I mean, we can see down here, it's just about to cross, I almost said Tears of Kingdom, the Origami King, and then the only games that sold more than that, you've got Bowser's Inside Story and Super Paper Mario on the DS and the Wii. And honestly, by the end, it might overtake them. It really might. It's definitely gonna overtake Origami King. That sold about 3 million units right away and then just dropped off a cliff. I don't think it's sold a single additional copy since launch. Of course, that's an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. That's interesting though. Oh, and then Pikmin. Oh, Pikmin. Oh, Pikmin. It's another game where it's definitely successful. It's absolutely successful, especially compared to, I love this. I love all of this. You're so good, Pierre. You're amazing. All this collected here. Compared to other Pikmin games, then yes, that is a big success. I was hoping for a little bit more. It shipped another 150k units in 2024. I suppose that means after launch, but in 2024. So that's a couple quarters, right? I don't really know exactly what the timeline is, but 3.5 million units in less than a year. It is good. I can't complain too much. I was hoping for more. Just seeing how enormous the buzz around the game was and how much Nintendo pushed it and how much everyone was talking about it, I was hoping for more. Maybe 5, you know? I don't know. I mean, it's possible it could end up being 5 by the end of the Switch's life. Not really sure, but obviously for a Pikmin game, it is doing very well. There's so many people that own Switches, and Pikmin 4 was such a big deal. I really just, I don't know. Wanted it to be a little bit higher, but oh well. This is like kind of its own entire conversation, but you know, Nintendo hasn't released any kind of like greatest hits, like lowering the price of their games at any point yet. So like we could see a lot more sales if Nintendo finally does that, especially going into the next generation, if they finally start giving us cheaper versions of great selling games on the Switch. You know, especially if we've got like remasters, that kind of thing, you know, enhanced ports over to Switch 2, then we might see some increased numbers. All of these numbers that we're looking at are still at the $60 price. So I suppose if you look at it that way, you know, GameCube and Wii by now would have had greatest hits, and we just are not getting that here. And yet the numbers are still pretty good, so maybe we can't complain. What is next? Tears of the Kingdom, wow. Just crazy. is now over 20.61 million copies worldwide, adding another 330k units this quarter. So it's obviously going to creep up by at least a few million more throughout the rest of the system's life. It is now the second bestseller in the franchise behind, obviously, Breath of the Wild by such a massive margin compared to every single other Zelda game ever. Absolutely absurd. And of course, more proof than ever that open world Zelda is the winner. It doesn't matter if we don't want it. It doesn't matter if you like linear Zelda more. The proof is in the pudding right here. And I'm still amazed at how well Tears of the Kingdom has sold. I really thought there would be a sharper decline from Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom, just because like that's kind of how sequels naturally work. But Nintendo gave it a hook. They gave it a real hook that really captured people's interest. So now you have this that by the end of its life, it might be not very far behind Breath of the Wild. And that is really something. That is an incredible accomplishment. My gosh, just look at this. The only thing that comes close is like Ocarina of Time, and that's including the remake, including the 3DS version. This is just all by itself. You got like Wii U there and Switch there. This is all Switch. Just selling on the Switch. That's how ridiculously successful the Switch is, and these games are. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet definitely have legs. Pokemon games, they sell very well right out of the door, and they have great legs. 560,000 copies just in the last 3 months, just in the last quarter. Now over 24.92 million units in total, about 25 million units. It's the fastest selling game in the series and the third best selling Pokemon title. The main Pokemon series sold more than 95 million games just on Switch. We have just about seen 100 million sales of Pokemon games on Switch, and that is crazy. Yeah, Scarlet and Violet doing pretty well. Just about to overtake Sword and Shield, which, and then of course, like, basically the only game that sold better was the original Red, Blue, Green, and that's because it had a million different versions, and Pokemon was so humongous back then, everyone was playing it. Now there's so much more competition, and yet the Switch is still so healthy, Pokemon is still doing so well that we are still seeing absolutely crazy sales. And I suppose it goes without saying, but the state that the game launched in and that it's still in today does not matter. Does not matter one bit. I mean, hey, if it was in a better state, maybe this would have been higher. Maybe they really did miss out on money. Maybe it would be at 35 million now if people had more confidence in the game and it ran better. I don't know. Maybe they did shoot themselves in the foot, but I don't know. Clearly they did good enough. So then we got Animal Crossing, and obviously Animal Crossing sold really, really well in 2020. And it dropped off a bit. It hasn't had the same legs. There was a while when it seemed like it was going to overtake Mario Kart, but its legs seemed to be quite a lot shorter than Mario Kart. However, still doing very, very well. Totals now 45 million units in 4 years, and that is nearly 60% of the entire series sales, all alone in one single title. And it shipped over 570,000 copies in the first 3 months of 2024. So that's still really incredibly good legs. That's still a few million per year, and that is good. That is very, very good. Good job, Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is definitely going to be a big thing moving forward. I mean, it was already a consistent series for Nintendo, but after this, it's one of the big guys now. It's one of the tentpole series. Animal Crossing's whole life changed permanently on the Switch. Forever. Then Smash Ultimate, still smashing the sales records, 34.22 million worldwide total. Shipped another 550k copies, I presume, in the last quarter or something. It's the franchise's best-selling title, as well as the best-selling fighting game to date. I believe it achieved that record much earlier on in its life, and now it's smashing the record so thoroughly, making it so impossible for any other game to ever catch up, even just compared to the previous games in the series. Look at that. That is the Switch effect in action. That is crazy. Then Breath of the Wild sold another 240,000 units this quarter despite Tears of the Kingdom. Despite us now having Tears of the Kingdom, which a lot of people, not all of them, but a lot of them, maybe even most of them would argue, is really the same game, but better. Really the same game, but more. Despite that, people are still buying Breath of the Wild by the millions. Switch version is now over 31.85 million copies, together with the Wii U edition, 33.56 million. Crazy. Then Mario Odyssey. Of course, it's Mario. It is the 3D Mario game on the system, so of course it's got legs. 310,000 more units in the last quarter. Lifetime sales are 27.96. It is approaching 30 million. And yeah, it's the best-selling 3D Mario game, doubling the second best, which is now Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury at 13.47 million. That is nuts. That's absolutely nuts. But we'll talk more about that game specifically in a bit. Right now, we're on Odyssey, and just like with Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, we see that, like, open sandbox Mario. Not everybody enjoyed it that much. I sure did. A lot of other people are kind of like, I don't know, I didn't think it was that great. But you know what? Once again, this is our pudding. And there was a lot of proof in that pudding that this format of Mario game, that's the winner. That is absolutely the winner right there, whether you like it or not. Pokemon Sword and Shield shipped a total of 26.27 million units, another 100K units this quarter. So obviously it's not selling quite as well anymore as Scarlet and Violet, but still not doing bad. Still not doing bad at all. Yeah, much shorter legs, but still pretty okay. Still, they're doing all right there. And then Super Mario Party has really just, I don't know what happened with this game. I don't even know quite. It became the Mario Party game on Switch, which is just a really good, easy, casual pick up and play kind of thing. So another 320,000 units in the last 3 months. Lifetime sales are now over 20.66 million units, making it the best seller in the franchise. And the two new Nintendo Switch entries represent more than 40% of the series' total sales, which is really saying something because there are many Mario Party games. Look at all of these, and yet these two. I don't know, Superstars. I really expected that. I mean, it's still done really, really well. But Super Mario Party, that's still the one. That's the one that most people are buying. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe closes out the top 10 with over 250,000 copies just in the last 3 months for a total of 17.45 million units, which is triple the 5.82 million units of the Wii U version, which itself was not even very bad. That's a very good amount of units for basically any video game to sell. And we got another, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's so much money, just printing money. Now we're at Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, 13.47 million copies, with an additional 300K between January and March. A bug just landed on my desk. Ew, what is that? What is that? Where did you come from? It just landed here. Just went, I literally heard it slap onto the table. Ew. What is that? What kind of little thing is that? I'm gonna take a picture. Hold on. Let me see here. What are you doing, little buggy? What are you doing? Where's that gunk on the table? What is that? Did you put that there? Is that just like old crumbs? Or is that dust? What is that? What are you doing? What are you doing, man? I'm making a video here. You don't want to talk? Am I freaking you out? Are you shy? You're a shy buggy. You don't want to talk. You want to be as small as possible till I go away. Okay, I'll go away. I'm sorry. Go get on with your day. Yeah, my door, it's got holes. I need a better door. I need some weather stripping. Bugs like to get in here. It's kind of fun. So anyway, yeah, 3D World. It's doing really well, especially when you combine it with the 4 million of 3D World on Wii U. Pretty great. And now we get to Mario Party Superstars. Shipped 12.89 million copies to date, plus 580K in 3 months. So it does have pretty good legs. It still is selling pretty darn well. Franchise second bestseller in only 2 years, trailing only Super Mario Party. So I guess it is doing pretty well when you consider that it's been out for a lot shorter. Still doing pretty good. And then Nintendo Switch Sports shipped another 630. This game right here is doing really well. I don't hear anybody talk about it. And yet it's one of those casual games that people buy. People buy them. It's that Wii Sports effect, I guess. 13.11 million units worldwide. Nintendo Switch Sports. I had no idea. I went a long time without really understanding how successful this game was. It's another giant success somehow. Splatoon 3 shipped 11.96 million units to date, including another 250k copies this quarter. Really not bad at all. Less than 1.4 million units before Splatoon 2 can be dethroned as the franchise top title. Will that happen before the Switch is done? I don't know, but it might be pretty close. And I mean, anywhere close to the same sales as Splatoon 2 is great for the sequel, because often sequels don't do as well. So I mean, no, it's another really humongous, tremendous success. And like I said in my video I did on this, Nintendo was clearly in the right. Even, oh, why'd you do Splatoon 3? You should have just updated 2. Well, whatever. They clearly made the right decision here, financially speaking. Luigi's Mansion 3 still selling. 270k copies just this quarter. Something about this game really just appeals to people. I always thought Luigi's Mansion, I always felt like it was a smaller series. It is not. People just love it. 14.25 million to date, more than double the previous entry. Absolutely nuts. And then, oh, I love this. Oh, I could talk all day about this. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, 7.52 million units. Another over 500,000 copies in the last 6 months. It is by far the best-selling title in the Kirby series. And I love to see it. Because, I mean, again, this is really a whole thing, but they went 3D. I'm just like, people like 2D games. Plenty of people like 2D games, but more people like 3D games. I don't know, man. Nintendo finally did a big, epic, cool, beautiful 3D Kirby game, and look what happened. Look what happened there, is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. There are now 67 known first-party million sellers on Nintendo Switch, published by Nintendo. And that is crazy. That is crazy. These numbers are absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. So anyway, that was fun. Just wanted to geek out about those numbers, see if anybody cares. And there's other stuff in there too, but I think I'm going to have a separate video talking about console sales. Let's close out by going back to the bug. Hey, buddy. You sure you don't want to say hi? Everyone would love to say hi. No? All right. That's okay. I really need to dust.